Hey there, Ram fans. You got Steve and Brad here with a special guest, Mr. Steve Barnett, who is a former high school and college basketball coach. We're excited to have him on here today, and our main topic is Ram and March Madness. And so we wanted to get Steve's views on the Ram contest. We've done kind of a reboot in the format, and then also today is the switch. It's the big changeover from the round of 64 to the round of 32, and we did this same tradition last year. So honored to have Steve Barnett with us. Steve, what are your views on Ram and also on the round of 32 as we move into that?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Um, I, I really enjoy these conversations. Every time I get a chance to talk ball, it's a fun time for me. First, the other thing I want to compliment you both on is the new format. It's great. You get instant feedback. Uh, to break it down in regions instead of you've got this long list when you go, make your picks. You have some idea who they're going to play next, and it just much cleaner, much easier, particularly for old goats like me that are not uh, technology savvy. It's really, really good. I really appreciate what y'all done with it.
We're excited. I mean, like some of those change, we need to get a little bit more intuitive, and we're working on streamline it. But we're just happy with the functionality and like especially with like the instant gratification,
Oh
like
yes,
moving up and down the charts. Like I was so excited to like see the picks come in and then see. I mean, I was moving up and down, sometimes 15 or 20 picks or slots just by one game, and that was like fun to see. I dropped way down at one point and then I came way. So like I hope we have that experience for everybody, that instant feedback.
yeah, it was great. I was following it, um, doing the same thing you're doing. You were doing, Brad, and uh, I think I was like fifth, and I thought, my God, this is as good as it gets for me because I'm one of those guys that take chances and read into things that I probably shouldn't read into them. And then when I had a conversation with my daughter and last night, and she told me I was number two at the time.
Yeah.
So then after I hung up, I went back and talked to, looked at the site, and lo and behold, after Carolina bit me in the butt, and uh, what was the other one I picked? Oklahoma.
Okay.
Uh, both those bit me in the butt. So when I refreshed it, all of a sudden I dropped from number two to number 11. And that's still better than I probably should be. So
Yeah, you were competitive throughout the day, right at the in the top five for a lot of it. But yeah,
yeah,
that shows like how tight the pack is this year with the decisions in that first round because everybody was just flipping in and out
yeah.
with one difference in a pick.
Yeah,
But
every
it
time
does.
the team won, the top spot was switching about half the time. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
It is neat. It's just neat. Yep. So, but I do love the new format.
Well, we
Yeah.
appreciate the feedback and thank you. We're not done yet. We're gonna keep tweaking it and improving it and trying to make it more user friendly. So thank
Well,
you.
good, good, good.
What do you think heading into round of 32? Is there any big highlights for you from round of 64, or do you have some deep knowledge that we can tease out of you for round of 32?
Not much knowledge, Brad, but I will tell you this. Uh, in this round, uh, styles create a fight. So when you start looking at, say, Drake, uh, they play a very methodical half court game, and they're a good basketball team. And as I alluded to earlier, at this point in time, um, I've always said, the top three seed lines, those are you're going to get a national championship out of those three lines more often than not. And occasionally a 15 or a 14 will pull an upset. But typically between the 14 seed line and the 3 or 4 seed line, those teams are all pretty evenly matched. and it's an arbitrary decision. Some committee sits in a room and says, we're going to make one team a 4 seed, and we're going to make another team a 12 seed, and everybody gets excited when that 12 seed upsets a 5 seed, for example. But the reality is, those are 2 pretty good basketball teams.
Yeah.
So then it comes down to the basics of basketball, as far as I'm concerned. And as I said, styles create a fight, or create the fight. And when you've got a team that wants to play up tempo against a team like Drake, or in the past like Virginia, who I followed, whoever was able to impose their will and control the game, the tempo, more often than not won that game. And the other things that come into play at this time of the year, particularly in the tournament, is who can guard the other team and create turnovers, who can rebound the basketball, and who turns the ball over less. If you take care of the ball, you guard the other team, and you rebound, and you win those categories, you typically have a pretty good a team that's going to have a good chance to advance in the tournament.
I was really impressed watching that McNeese State game of how defensive they were really energetic. And so I'm pretty excited to see how they do, because like you get those weird, like you're talking about, where the committee sits in smaller region, but they came in, and I mean that if you watch the whole game, it actually ended up closer than the game really was. I mean,
exactly.
They really, and it was like you were saying, defensively, I thought that they played with just way more energy and like up tempo. So I always wonder how much of that is those teams are just excited to be there and playing for nothing, because really the pressure was on a team, like Clemson, to not lose, as opposed to me. And you can tell sometimes when the smaller seeds, when the late seeds, when they kind of wilt, but then there's other times when they just look like they're having fun. And if they go for broke, and that's when you get those upsets sometimes. And
you're exactly right. When you can go out there and play free, and if you're a basketball coach, you walk in the locker room and you say, hey, listen, we're a 12 seed, that's 5 seed. Let's go for broke. Leave nothing in this locker room, on the floor. Use it all up. And you're exactly right. If you've got teams that aren't afraid to compete, and at this time of the year, and you got a little bit of talent, and you win the style fight, you're going to see upsets.
Another interesting thing too, when you think about it, is like the 7 and the 8 seeds are really all top 25 teams ranking wise. But for some reason in the tournament, when you see a 1 by an 8, like if the 24th ranked team, like in the regular season, beats like the 6th overall ranked team, that's not like a crazy thing. But for some reason, you put a 7 by their name and a 1 by their name, and all of a sudden it looks insane. And I do think about that all the time, that like, if you were just every 8 seed potentially was during the regular season a top 25 team. And I do find that like your brain gets messed up when you're looking at seeding. It like can't comprehend for some reason the difference in, hey, if we just rank it 25 and 7, then that's a toss-up game during the regular season. You go, oh man, this will be a good one, but in the tournament, it's like, oh, they're going to get blown out. It's a 1 versus an 8, or whatever.
But you're right. And again, it's everything's on a neutral floor.
That's true too. Yeah, that's a good
point. Which comes into play. But yeah, like I said earlier, you take the top 4 seeds out and probably the bottom 3 seeds out, and that then you've got 40 very equal basketball teams that are competing. And again, then it comes back to execution, and which style wins the fight. So yeah.
One of the things from this round that like I hadn't considered, and my son actually told me this, because like I don't really follow college basketball that much. I looked at it before the tournament for my picks, but like had I known, I didn't realize Coach K was coaching Arizona. I just hadn't followed it.
Arkansas.
Or Arkansas, yeah, Arkansas. And so I had picked Kansas because they're a blue blood team. They've been there before. But like that, it was very evident in that game, like that, not that there was a massive difference, but that they were ready for that moment, And I think I would have, if I had cognitized or whatever, had that in my brain, I would have picked, the Razorbacks, just knowing that they were basically it was equal footing. But I went, well, hey, it's equal. Kansas has been here a gazillion times. I'm going to go with Kansas. But
Exactly.
It's interesting how that stuff plays out. The teams that you can or that just stay calm the whole game.
Well, and coaches with experience in the tournament. Calipari, for example, he had he's played for a national championship twice now. I think once at Memphis and maybe a couple times at Kentucky. He's won a national championship, so he doesn't go into that tournament intimidated by anybody.
Yeah.
And I did pick Arkansas because of Calipari.
Yeah. See,
but the other thing, they came from what I think is arguably the best conference this year, maybe of all time, in terms of competitiveness in the Southeastern Conference. And if you can go 500 or play close 500 in that league, I mean, if you looked at my picks, they were pretty SEC heavy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like going back to the heydays of the ACC back in the 70s and 80s and early 90s. Because you had a fifth or sixth seed out of the ACC, and you think, well, now they won't do very well, but the competition that they've played all year long has sort of hardened them for this kind of experience. So I watched the SEC a lot this year because I root for Alabama. But I'm going to tell you something. SEC's always had great athletes. Don't get me wrong, but they've gone out and now they're paying for top quality, top notch coaches.
Yeah,
and the coaching staffs in that league now are as good as anybody's. And 30 years ago, probably the head coach was also the assistant football coach somewhere. Yeah, the SEC, that's a tough league.
Are you saying that as a former coach, you think coaching matters? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yes. It does matter at tournament time, I think.
Yeah.
And in preparation. It still comes down to the Jimmies and Joes. If you don't have, as a guy told me once, there's a reason why you don't see mules running in the Kentucky Derby. And if you've got to have thoroughbreds. And again, you look at these teams, and I'm amazed at the physical athleticism that are put on for you. You talked about New Mexico, McNeese, DCU. I mean, my gosh,
yeah,
they're without a doubt, in my opinion, the most athletic team in the state of Virginia this year. And there's a reason why Tech and UVA don't want to put them on the schedule.
I mean, even
they're very
right? Even Yale, those guys. It said even the guys from Yale. I mean, you're watching that game, and you don't think of a Ivy League team jamming
exactly.
and they're all dunking, and it was great to watch.
And the ability to run the floor and do the things they do in motion, and as fast as the game is today, it just it's a blur. I think I may have said this to you before. I remember going from the high school level to the college level coaching, and the speed of the game, even at the D3 level and at VMI, the speed of the game amazed me early on. How fast the game was played, how physical the game was played at the college level, and then when I went back to the high school level, it was like watching basketball in slow motion.
Yeah.
But when you watch any of these teams that play the up tempo, I mean they're doing magnificent things at a speed you and I, the average person, can't comprehend. To be honest with you.
Maybe
Well,
you and me, Steve, but Steve over here can he's a little bit quicker. So.
Is it okay?
Well, Steve, before we wrap up, let me ask you about two matchups here and get your views on them. Maybe who you picked and why you went that way. One, I'm going to go with your team, Alabama versus St. Mary's. You know, I know there's your heart's in there, but like, what's your view on that game? And then for the second game, it's a game tomorrow. Big matchup between Calipari and Pitino with St. John's and Arkansas. So what's your view on those two games?
Well, St. Mary's is good. They're a talented basketball team.
So
but I don't believe they match up with Alabama's athleticism. And if Alabama can get penetration and can get 10 or 12, 13 threes, I think they'll win. Alabama's a very, very athletic team. And their bigs have surprised me all year long. I didn't have a whole lot of anticipation about how well they would do inside, but their bigs have surprised me.
And they put up so many points, you know, like I think they've gone over 90, over 50.
And again, this is a style fight. You know, if Alabama can get out and run, I'm not sure St. Mary's can stay with them.
All right. So how about the other one? How about Arkansas St. John's? What's your view there? Two great coaches going against
That's
each
a
other.
tough one, I think.
It is a tough one. It will be, and when I picked St. John's because they're very athletic as well, extremely athletic. Both teams are. I think St. John's guards are a little bit better. They defend a little bit better, but they don't shoot the three as well as Arkansas does. And I think Arkansas probably has, having watched them quite a bit, they probably have a little better inside game, the post players. So I believe that St. John's guards will be able to defend Arkansas's guards and take away the three.
Okay.
And I think that the difference between Arkansas's inside game and St. John's post players is not as great. So I think it'll be a good game, but I think St. John's will prevail.
Awesome. Well, that's the inside scoop right there for Ram fans. Everyone.
Yeah.
I got to go make a few pick changes, so we got to go.
Oh, listen, if you're taking my advice, shame on you. That's all I can say.
Well, based on the rankings yesterday, I don't know about that because you were in the top 5 for most of the day. So,
well, you know the thing about it is, I would have done much better. Between New Mexico and Marquette, I had New Mexico pick them initially, and then I went back and forth, and I probably changed that pick 3 or 4 times.
That was the hardest pick for me.
Yeah,
by far.
And I finally settled on Marquette because of Shaka Smart. Then North Carolina and Connecticut. I picked both of those games with my heart. Carolina because I wanted to see the ACC advance at least 2 teams to the second weekend. And I should have known better. As soon as the game started, I said to myself, Steve, you're a fool. You're an idiot. And I want Connecticut to get beat so badly that I picked against them. So that's what happens when you let your heart do the picking.
Well, Steve, we appreciate you joining us today. Thanks for sharing your wisdom this year, just like you did last year. And we'll be following along the Ram tournament and March Madness with you along the way.
Well, thanks for having me. And again, keep up the good work. This is a great, great bracket experience. So I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, horns up.
Horns up.
There you
everybody.
go. There you
We'll get you all closed out, and we'll see you along the way. So
All right.
keep on making your picks.
All right.
See you,
Thanks, fellas.
Steve.